Okay, what is up guys? Today we're filming a episode 2 recap of The Other Way. If you haven't checked out my other recaps, make sure you do so because I post once a week or twice a week at that. So make sure you check them out, like it, share it, comment on it. It helps me out a lot. Do my intro really quick. If you're new, subscribe, like this video, comment, check out my other videos if you haven't already. Check out my podcast, Pretty Open-Minded, on Spotify, and turn your post notifications. And like and comment on those videos if you haven't already. So not a lot happened in this episode. Start with Dempsey and Statler. So Dempsey sold her caravan and other belongings to get ready to leave for her little adventure thing with Statler. Sell everything for her camper van so she can travel full-time, because basically how she grew up was her family was damn near nomads, and so they traveled like pretty much everywhere, and that's all she pretty much knows growing up. So she wants to pursue it full-time. Felt like she didn't have any like attachment to things, probably because of her upbringing, probably because she's always traveled everywhere and probably didn't stay in one place for very long. So she decides to move with the flow instead of being attached to things. Statler's end, she explains that she was like procrastinating a lot because she was overwhelmed, and she talks a lot about her ADHD, and she also explains that she recently got diagnosed with autism. And girl, not to be rude or anything, but I knew for sure that she had a little bit of the tizzy, because it's just, I've been around people with disabilities and I just felt like I had this gut feeling that she had it. And I know that when I first saw her, it was more than just ADHD. And so she got diagnosed with ADHD and her autism in her 30s. So this is kind of like a new thing for her. But my thing about Statler is that yes, it's exciting to finally be at peace and find out like what's wrong with you, I guess you could say. She's happy that she finally has a diagnosis, but I just hope that she doesn't make it a personality trait, because like she calls herself like a neurospicy. Those are like the terms I see on freaking TikTok, and it's just those are the same people that make their disabilities a personality trait. Like I have dyscalculia and ADD, and I don't make it a personality trait. I don't really even talk about it because I just feel like for one, it's not something that I feel like should be always discussed unless it's something that is bothering me. I think the thing that bothers me the most is my ADD, because I can't focus a lot like anywhere, especially in school, because I have a hard time focusing, and it's always been like that. Like growing up for me, like I got in trouble just because I couldn't focus in class. Like people would the teachers would constantly point out how I couldn't pay attention, and I would zone out a lot. But it's just like when I get bored, I start zoning out and stuff like that. I don't make it like a personality, and I kind of despise people that make their disabilities a personality trait. It's just the most annoying thing ever, because she kind of does it in a way, because she's like, I can't do this because of my ADHD, I can't do that because of my ADHD. You should not let your ADHD stop you from everything. You should construct a little routine so it doesn't consume your life and you don't get overwhelmed by the littlest things. I don't know, I feel like routines help a lot with people, and I noticed that how Dempsey would explain things about her, I was like, yeah, she definitely likes a routine, and people with autism like routines. They do not adapt well with change, and she is not adapting with change very well in this episode.
Usually I end my bath by taking a pee. Really? Yeah. It's just this freedom. Nobody can tell me what to do. I'm peeing in my own bath. You go after yourself.
I don't know. I kind of get annoyed when she brings up so much the ADHD. All she brought up was the ADHD and her sex life, and when she first was brought up on the show, and I'm just like, okay girl, okay. Statler decided to call Dempsey on FaceTime, and they were just expressing their concerns about the move, and Dempsey said that she got a sty on her eye from stress, and then Statler's eye has been twitching non-stop.
How's packing going? I've got a sty. On my eye from being stressed the past 2 days, my right eye has been twitching non-stop. My whoa, or like instant lesbians.
And the good thing that about Statler's job is that it's remote, so wherever she goes she can just like log on and still work, and it doesn't matter where she is. It's a cool thing because she doesn't have to worry about working. She'll still be able to make money wherever she is. As long as she has internet, she is fine. But then she said that Statler has been expressing that she's been checking out a lot mentally due to being in like a lot of stress, being under a lot of stress. So she was also explaining that when she's under a lot of stress, she tends to either like snap, or she decides to like shut down completely, and a lot of her exes would get overwhelmed by her little outbreaks because of that very reason. And she said that people weren't really fond of it, but I understand like why, because like every time Statler is on TV, she's always stressed out about something, and like whenever you're overstimulated all the time, it does make you want to snap. But like I don't understand why she's stressed out so easily, because her life seems so easy and put together. I don't know what it is, but she just, I feel like a lot of it would be helpful if she just did like breathing exercises before she snapped or something, because like snapping at your significant others because you're overstimulated all the time, like that is not like their fault. It's just, you need to work with it, not against it. Dempsey met up with her friend to express her concerns about Statler, and she showed her a map, like her friend showed her a map, and she decided to give her a gift for her van. And then she was also expressing that Statler tends to shut down, and she's also very stressed out about the move and expects Dempsey to figure it out when she gets there since she's so busy. So she hasn't really like planned anything with her. She's been kind of just, it's been very one-sided it seems like, and I think it's like, I feel like this is kind of, oh, you scared me. I forgot to tell you guys I have a special guest. Yeah. He likes to scratch at the walls for some reason. Yeah, she's kind of leaving Dempsey all the responsibilities when it comes to the camper van, which is kind of unfair because it should have been a 50-50 thing. I already see how this is gonna go. Friend asked if she considers it a red flag to be because she noticed that she doesn't handle like big things, like she doesn't know how to handle like adjustments very well. And then Dempsey said she doesn't feel like it's a red flag, but she does tend to worry because Statler does freak out by the littlest things, and she does stress out a lot. Also said that she feels like Statler works well in an environment that has a lot of structure. Her apartment, she knows where to go, how everything's gonna be, because she created this routine for herself at her apartment, so she knows how it's gonna, her day is gonna plan out because of that. Friend brings up a valid question about like, oh, what if she like gives up midway in the route? And she was like, oh, I never thought of it like that. And ever since Statler's been on the show, she was complaining about Dempsey's home country because she didn't like how cold it was, and she didn't like how she had to poop outside, even though Dempsey is very much like a hippie and she doesn't like to live like how other people live. She didn't like how a lot of things, like they were very opposite. Like Statler is more like, I don't know, she's kind of bland in a way when it comes to her living situation, not to be rude or anything. And then Dempsey is more like, I need stimulus, I like to be outside, I like to explore nature, and Statler does too. She likes to collect bugs and stuff like that, but it's not to the extent of Dempsey's level of her loving nature. It's more like, this is how, as far as I'll go with nature, and that's it, because she will complain. So it on their little segment. Going on to Tata and James. James was taking her to the airport so she can go back to Indonesia, and then Tata asked when is she gonna James gonna buy a ticket, because he still hasn't bought one yet. And then he said buy it within a month or two, and then he's gonna be working constantly to make as much money as he can until then. And then James said once he goes to Indonesia, he wants to start working with Tata's family.
So I'm gonna try to work for your family. No, that's the thing. You work with my family, they won't pay you. Well, then what are we gonna do for a job? Because you said it was gonna be a job, and now you're telling me I'm not gonna make any money working for them? They never pay for a family. Okay, then why did we make that our plan that we were gonna do that as a job? Oh, if we can't go there and have any type of a life, why would we do this? I'm not gonna move somewhere if I can't take care of you. We can just got the banana chip from my dad's house, and then we got another city to sell it there, or buying the chips from him. And then we're selling them ourselves. Commissions. Exactly. Well, that's what you should have said. But to say that, oh, you're not going to make any money in my third language, it's hard. I need to translate it. 2 language in my brain.
With the banana chip company. So, because that was kind of the plan. That was the plan. He was going to move there, work there, because they already have a business. So it was like killing 2 birds with 1 stone type thing. But Tata didn't explain that if you work for her family business, they don't pay the family members. So he's gonna be essentially like, it's gonna be like volunteering there, and he's not gonna be able to make money while he's working with her family, which is unfortunate. But she never told him that. So he was getting really frustrated because of that, and I wish he could have she could have explained more about the business. I think she's just so used to how it's custom that she didn't really like question it. He was like concerned how he was gonna be making money there, because he won't be able to make money. And so he also said he didn't want to like move somewhere where he couldn't provide for her. So Tata's solution was to take her dad's banana chips and sell it in another city to earn a profit. But then she also said like that they won't be able to like sell it in other cities because I guess there's so many other banana chip things at the store. So she's like, oh, we're gonna have to fight for it and stuff like that. And then he was like, how long is it gonna make a real, like, how long is it gonna take to make a real profit off of these banana chips? Because in real life here, I think banana chips are like $3-4. So if you're living already in a banana city where there's banana chips and bananas in different forms, can only assure you how hard it is to make a profit. Because at least make it to where you can make it different than the other companies, so it's not the same banana chip over and over again. Because I don't know, all I see is just bananas everywhere when I think of her city. And so they're selling it to make a money, but everyone else is doing it. So like maybe add flavors to it, maybe add like, I don't know, like magnesium to it to make it stick out from the other companies, is when I think of it. Tata says in her confessional that she didn't feel like she was keeping a secret because she didn't realize she had to explain in detail about their job to him. So a month after Tata left, James is now packing, and this will be the time where he tells his family he's moving out of the country for good. James explains that he's been married before and they moved to Florida, and basically he was saying that his ex-wife was giving him an ultimatum, like, whether you go with me or not, and he decided to go with her. And he said that since he moved out of the state, they had to like downside the family business because there wasn't enough mechanics for the elevator thing. So, and he apparently does it very well, so it's probably really hard to find people to do his job that well. So his brother comes over with his wife and he asks if Tata's coming back.
Tabs, when is she coming back? But she's actually not planning on coming back, because I'm gonna go over and join her. In Indonesia. So when are you coming back? We're not coming back. You're not, coming back. Okay, like, what do you mean you're not coming back? Avra? She's had a hard time acclimating to being here.
And he explains, oh, she's not gonna move back here. And his brother explains like, oh, he's done it before and he isn't like educated on like the language, on the culture. And when he found out that like he was gonna be moving, he was like, what do you mean you're moving? Like, what do you mean you're moving? Like, you're not coming back here? And they were like kind of like hurt and probably disappointed, because for one, they're being told last minute and stuff like that, and it probably was like frustrating because they have to downsize yet again for the business. James made a promise to Tata's dad that he was going to learn the language, and all he can say is that he knows where something is, or he can ask, like, I think he asks where something is, and that's all he can say as far as like the language, which is pretty pathetic in my opinion. And also another promise that he made to her dad was that he was gonna give her grandkids, and his brother was like, oh, like, how is that going? Like, are you guys using protection? Are you guys doing anything? And he's like, maybe we are, maybe we're not. And then he ends up saying that they are using protection because he isn't ready for kids. And he was saying, like, in the state of the world, he was like, I don't know if I want kids, because this is probably when Rona first happened. I don't know, because the way that they phrased it, it seemed like it just happened, or a year after it happened. And like, he was just not sure. And the way he promised that stuff 5 years prior, and like, he was just like, well, now I don't know what I want. I don't really want kids right now. And it's probably gonna be like disappointing to hear that when he gets there, because they're really big on family and culture and stuff over there. So, but the thing is, he is not ready to have kids. He doesn't seem like he has an interest in having kids whatsoever, is the thing. He keeps saying not now, but he doesn't seem like he has any type of interest at all with this whole like situation. Which, okay, that's understandable, but why be with someone that wants to have kids like badly, you know what I mean? But that's basically how the episode ends. It only really paid attention to 3 couples this episode. It was kind of boring, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how this is gonna go for the future, but hopefully it goes well. Hopefully it gets like interesting as it goes, because right now it's just kind of boring because they're just kind of building a storyline. But yeah, I feel like this was short, but that's literally all I have for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, check out my podcast, Pretty Open-Minded. It's on Spotify if you don't know. It's linked in my bio on here, and also linked in the description. Everything is linked down in the description, so make sure you follow me so you can keep up with me off camera. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.